Boy, do we have some interesting stories. First up, Governor Lee signs a dangerous reproductive rights bill. Lee refuses to sign a bill, however, that would protect your constitutional rights during an emergency. Surprise, surprise. The bill that would have allowed for disenrollment of illegal aliens dead for the year. Why? Good old money. Follow the money trail. Bill creating crime of human smuggling to combat illegal immigration passes Tennessee House. Controversial Tennessee campaign finance bill clears both the House and the Senate, and a bill preventing voter registration for legal aliens and convicted felons passes. And finally, 4 Republicans vote for taxpayer funded illegal alien education in Hamilton County. It is Brandon Lewis here, boy. The old session is wrapped up. And I tell you what, the session is like for me. The session is like an old game of Duck Hunt. I don't know if any of you remember Duck Hunt. It was like the first game on the old Nintendo system. And essentially the premise is they let these ducks go, and you've got a little gun, and your job is to shoot as many of them down as you could. And of course, as the game goes on, they release more ducks and more challenging scenarios. And so watching the Tennessee legislature meet with the Republican supermajority is like Duck Hunt, except the conservative legislation are the ducks. And so you just get to watch conservative legislation get shot down and shot down and shot down and shot down. And just when you think they're going to make it off the screen, no, they get shot down. And so we have a long list of conservative bills that were killed by Republicans almost exclusively. But we did have a few good ones eke out, and we're excited about that. Guys, if you want to be on our newsletter, do text the word news rather, to 423-205-5600. That's the word news, N-E-W-S, 423-205-5600. If you appreciate what we do, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, hit that support button, or mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. We need your support. And follow us on X, Gab, Getter Truth, MeWe, Rumble, and everywhere that you get your podcasts or your social media. Before we get into anything else, go through the mailbag. I got this nice note, looky here, and it says, "Thank you for being a watchman at the gate. We appreciate what you're doing. God bless Steve and Kayleen." Thank you very much. Got one here from Justin, who says, "Thank you for being a true and uncompromised voice for the great people of Tennessee. The more I have actively paid attention to local politics here, I've discovered the sad truth is that we don't have a conservative supermajority in the General Assembly, and not one that cares for our values, but a group that is easily corrupted with money and power." Boy, you could make that a thesis statement for the last 5 years of what I've discovered. Skipping on a little bit here, the Tennessee Conservative is the only news media outlet that calls rhinos out, and I'm thankful for it. I hope the small donation helps you in your fight, Justin. It does, buddy. If everybody did a little, I wouldn't have to beg all the time. I appreciate you. One last one here. It came in. It says, "Dear Brandon and friends, thank you for all your faithful work and what you do for us in Tennessee. Here's hoping everything really goes well financially. In the meantime, we did have a little extra month to send along to you." Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Pat. You've been there with me from the beginning. So that's the mailbag, guys. Let's get into some of these stories. You ready? So Governor Bill has signed the Fertility and Contraceptive Protective Act into law, ignoring the cries for a veto from many state lawmakers, grassroots organizations, and conservative constituents who see the bill as a Trojan horse against many of the pro-life advances we have made so far. HB 0533, which was presented as a benign right to secure the right, I suppose, for seeking all fertility treatments in the state, including in vitro fertilization, etc. As the bill moved through the committee process, Gino Bulso expressed its pitfalls and potential consequences because the legislation has a dangerous disregard for both the state and scientific definition of an unborn child. It was also revealed during the bill's House floor session that it was being supported by the ACLU and Planned Parenthood, an additional red flag for many conservative reps, especially as all 24 House Democrats voted in favor. Numerous organizations across the state, Tennessee Stands, Abolish Abortion Tennessee, Catholic Vote, and the Tennessee Right to Life campaigned against the bill during its process in the legislature and called Lee to veto it. So 11 conservative lawmakers sent a letter asking him to veto it, and they were as follows: Chris Todd, Jody Barrett, Monty Fritz, Michelle Renaud, Todd Warner, Kip Capley, Scott Spicky, Timothy Hill, Brock Martin, Ed Butler, and Aaron Mabry. While the governor has generally allowed legislation with which he disagrees with to become law by simply not signing it, putting paper to pen, he has signaled his support for this measure. So we know that if it tears down some of the bulwarks of the pro-life momentum that we've made here in Tennessee, that Bill Lee will sign it. Well, what won't he sign? Well, here's what he won't sign. Governor Lee refuses to sign bill protecting constitutional rights of Tennesseans. Early in this month, Governor Bill sent a letter to Tennessee lawmakers refusing to sign legislation into law that would protect your constitutional rights of Tennesseans. It was sponsored by Mark Pody, and Rusty Grills reiterates a pre-existing restriction on the governor's emergency powers. This bill would ensure that citizens' constitutional rights are upheld and protected during states of emergency. So we wouldn't have had to go through all the businesses going out of business, all the fake masking, all the fake social distancing, all the fake vaccine stops transmission, all the kids being at home, if we had had a legislature that would actually stand up for your constitutional rights and a governor. And so even after looking at all of the hardships Governor Lee caused the people of Tennessee, not an apology, just going to stay the course, right? The legislation was reportedly inspired by a desire to put safeguards in place for Tennesseans after the draconian and unconstitutional measures mandated by many governors and county mayors and city mayors in the name of COVID-19. The bill sponsors have explicitly stated that it actually does nothing to impede the governor's ability to issue executive orders or proclamations in emergency time. It was passed by both the House and the Senate. This decision reflects my deep concern about the bill's adverse impact on the state's ability to protect the 7 million we serve. Yeah, well. Jody Barrett says this bill has nothing to do with responding to tornadoes or hurricanes. It has everything to do with protecting 7 million Tennesseans from overreach of the executive branch. Hear, hear. It's amazing, though. I mean, why you wouldn't be like, yeah, I won't trample all over everybody's constitutional rights if there's an emergency, but I guess if you did it before, you must have thought it was a good thing, so why not oppose it now? William Lamberth and Bo Watson's bill that would have allowed school districts to disenroll illegal aliens has lost its momentum and is considered dead for the year. The legislation would have initially required all public and charter schools to verify a student's legal status. I think that's watered down to that they could later. And if they wanted to, the LEA could vote to have the parents pay tuition. And so that thing was faced by all kinds of protests from the left. Hamilton County Principals Association, Hamilton County Board of Education even here fought against it. And it's a shame because they think that the reason that they can't do this, while we've got to be saddled as Tennessee taxpayers with $700 million worth of illegal alien education expense every year and rising, is because they might lose some federal money. It's the same reason that they used for trampling all over our constitutional rights during COVID. If we don't do this restriction stuff, we might lose some federal money. If we don't declare a state of emergency and take away people's constitutional rights, we might lose some federal money. I don't care about the federal money. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and Tennessee taxpayers should not be on the hook for illegal alien education. It amazes me that we had people on our school board either vote for doing this or didn't even have the courage to vote against it. And the Democrats and the rhinos, in my opinion, on this particular issue, won the day. And I'm in the middle of the process of having a poll done asking Hamilton County primary voters if they think illegal alien education should be funded at taxpayer expense. And the second question will be, if you knew somebody voted for this, would you vote for them? Because I want to see how far afield the Hamilton County Republican majority of the school board, if they're really aligned with their people or if they're aligned with somebody else. And I think we're going to discover that they're aligned with somebody else. Bill creating a crime of human smuggling to combat illegal immigration passes Tennessee House, a bill that would create the offense of human smuggling, harboring or hiding or assisting in another harboring or hiding of an illegal alien known to have been here illegally in the country, cleared its final hurdle. It creates strong penalties for the new crime of human smuggling and also empowers the Attorney General to better combat human trafficking in the state. It designates a Class E felony to someone who knowingly moves or hides illegal immigrants and smuggling children under the age of 13 would be considered aggravated human smuggling. Guys, listen, we have been beat up, bruised, bullied and badgered this entire session, and we have had excessive expenses. We got a lot of coverage and a lot of video content and a lot of firsthand information that we brought to you during the session. But we did it at a cost of a lot of additional expense having to deal you up there. So if you could help us chip in rather to help us refill the coffers here at the Tennessee Conservative, that would be helpful. If you give $50 or more, we will send you a proud Tennessee Conservative koozie, tumbler, and a couple of bumper stickers and a directory of your elected officials. And you can do that by going to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. If you are one of the 90% that do not give, but you listen to our publication, please get off the couch. Please get off your wallet. Things are not going to change. If everyone in Tennessee gave at the level you give, would there be a Tennessee Conservative? Would there be any conservatism at all? If the answer is no, then now's a perfect time to change that habit. So do donate. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support or mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee. That's P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Controversial. Tennessee campaign finance bill passes both House and Senate. The campaign finance law, which critics have warned may prove detrimental to underfunded conservative candidates in Tennessee, officially passes both chambers. This is by Tim Hicks and Richard Briggs, two people that are passing a bill I always look at sideways if they're bringing it. Legislation funnels more money toward the Bureau of Ethics and Campaign Finance, which is just a kangaroo court of schmucks, as far as I've been able to see. A biased Incumbent Protection Board, allowing the Registry of Finance to skip audits or investigations of complaints against federal or financial reports and instead go straight to show cause hearing, requiring a local candidate whose jurisdiction covers more than one county to register a political treasurer in each county the election occurs. I don't see why you'd need to do that. Deleting its entire section of existing law, replacing it with exemptions for campaign contribution limits for certain political committees, etc. Next story, bill preventing voter registration for illegal immigrants, convicted felons passes. So basically what we've been talking about for a while means that the Secretary of State will work with local elected officials to make sure that people have citizenry and also has a visual distinction on the front of a photo identification so that you can know if they're here legally or not. Final story, the Hamilton County Republican controlled school board recently passed a resolution opposing a bill that was making its way through the General Assembly. It's the one that I talked to you about, where Bo Watson and William Lambert, they're basically just doing the will of the primary voter here. But for Republicans, Ben Doherty, who's my school board member, is a huge disappointment. Larry Groen, who I know very well and would have never thought he'd vote in this direction. Gary Kuhn, I guess that's his name, Joe Smith, joined 4 Democrats on the board. Felice Haddon, Jody Schaefer, and Steve Slater abstained. And so, again, this is what I'm gonna report on here soon when this poll comes out. We're gonna see if the Republicans are in line with their constituents in Hamilton County relative to the school board's recent vote, or if they're out of alignment. I will share the information with you as it becomes available to me. Those are the news stories, guys. I'm a little worn out. I know our staff is worn out. After the session concludes, where I'll just breathe a big sigh of relief, because there's a lot of disappointments. It's been 5 years of watching these guys just fail really to represent you. I mean, it's like if you look at a continuum, and let's say that right here in the middle is the middle of the road, and let's say this is the right, and let's say this is the left. Well, most of your GOP primary voters are over here, to the right. I don't know if I got this right or not, but they're over here to the right. And they're, if this is the far right, they're probably right here, what people call the far right. And then you got the center. And so most of our Republican representatives seem to be just right of center, but their constituents are further toward what people would call, quote unquote, right wing extremism, which is just a very strong stance on illegal immigration, a desire for educational freedom, transparency, lower taxes, all that kind of stuff. And our GOP representatives just aren't quite where they are. So, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging in there with us through the session, for supporting us, for your words of encouragement, for everything else. We will be getting the Rhino report out here before too long, so stand by for that. You want to definitely get your hands on that and share that around. What's going on this weekend? Well, I'm going to go work out tonight at the gym, to my knowledge, I think. And I've got to get up in the morning and really do a little bit of work, and then I've got to go to do some more training. I've started taking boxing lessons. I think I just need something to do. It's a little bit different. So I'm going down to Fitness Central to do that at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And I don't know what we're going to do at Sunday. Probably go to church, since I think Sylvia's going to do something that evening. So we may not have her with us for the 6 o'clock service. That's about it. We're going to Washington, D.C. next week on a church trip, but I'm planning on getting up there early to have some conversations with gubernatorial candidates, Congress folks, say hey to people, and all that stuff while I'm up there. So I'll shoot a few videos, send them to you from our nation's capital, and if there are some picturesque views or things of that nature, I'll make sure to share those as well. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for, again, helping us get through this legislative session, for all the phone calls that you sent in, for all of the mail, the emails, everything that, helped a few things get out the door, and other things that even though they died, Republicans know that they're going to pay a political price for it back in their districts, because they felt the heat from you. And, that is a victory unto itself, because as we do more and more of that, what it does is it essentially just shakes the base harder and harder. And as you shake the base, because you're disconnected with the base, with the way you govern, you end up with more primary challengers. So it is my serious hope that in 2026 we have more primary challengers in Tennessee than we've ever seen. And I'd like you to be a part of it. If you know of somebody who's thinking about it, get behind them, and maybe something's been put on your heart to run. And if so, by all means, let me know. Brandon at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Love you guys. Appreciate you. I will see you next week. Take care.